Hello, my name is Peyton Bean and I am with Unity College. And today I'd like to talk to you about replacing 10% of your pet's current diet with fresh foods that can actually improve animal welfare. And first we'll talk about a brief history on where kibble came from. So the dry extruded kibble that we know today has actually only been a part of our companions' diets for around 162 years. The first kibble was created by a man named James Spratt in 1860. Almost 2 centuries ago, he developed a biscuit made of wheat, beetroot, vegetables, and beef blood. So before this, animals were fed scraps, cooked fresh food, or they scavenged for raw scraps from butchers or farmers, etc. They were listening to their bodies to see what nutrients they needed. So before kibble, diseases were not as prevalent an issue because they were either scavenging for what their body needed or they were being fed fresh, non-processed foods. So what we're here to talk about today are the actual benefits of replacing just 10% of your pet's current diet. And one of the first of this very shortened of a very long list benefits would be less AGEs, or advanced glycation end products. And to me, this is probably one of the most important, as the reduction of these AGEs, or advanced glycation end products, they're actually caused by high heat ultra-processed food, and they're actually a chemical reaction that occurs as a result of that processing technique. But why they're so important to me to reduce them or have less of them is because they contribute to diseases and lowered health and lifespan, which is what we'll get into later. And this process actually is what makes the food that we're feeding shelf stable. So we want less of these and more of actual real nutrients with real benefits. And that brings us to our second benefit. So real nutrients. What happens when the food is really high heat processed is that we start to lose nutrients because of that. We're not getting full benefits. So what we can do by replacing just 10% of our pet's current diet with those actual real nutrients and benefits that we can see is that they're raw, unprocessed food, and the body can really process those and we can actually see benefits from them. And this can increase immunity and give us less susceptibility to actual disease, which in turn gives us a longer lifespan and health span. And lifespan in and of itself just means how long we live. And of course, we don't want our animals to live super long lives and be miserable all the time. So we want them to be healthy and live long at the same time. So health span is how long you are healthy, and lifespan is how long you live. So we want them to live as healthily and as long as possible. And another benefit would be better skin and coat. So no more itching, no more dry skin, no more yeast infections. We can really see these real nutrients and benefits, going back to number 2, through the better skin and coat. And of course, for our last one, we have disease prevention or reduction in current disease. And this is really, really important because if your animal or your companion animal is going through a current disease, we can see a big reduction in that by just adding these less high heat ultra processed foods. And of course, in turn, we can also prevent disease or further disease. So what foods can we actually feed? So this is obviously based on companion animals like dogs or cats, but I'm sure any benefit of any of these foods would be great for any companion animal. So of course we have fruits and veggies like broccoli and strawberries and blueberries and green beans. And then we've got some bone broth on here, as well as fresh seafood like fish or mussels, and the multivitamin or the egg. And then we have yogurt, bee pollen, turmeric. These are all obviously just very small list of things that you can feed. And then we'll get into something that you can absolutely not or should not feed your animals, especially dogs. Obviously that means cooked bones, grapes, macadamia nuts, anything in the onion family, minus garlic, which can be a great benefit, as well as chocolate and things like that. So obviously there are things that we should not feed, but going back to this previous slide, there are many things that we can feed in order to enhance the benefits and what fresh food can actually do for the body. So I hope you guys enjoyed this PSA, and thank you so much for listening.